panel. Since I was asked, I have so many questions, and it's such a shame we've only got 10 minutes or 15 minutes for this. So I think like the first thing, how did you get into this partnership? Why did you pick a sport? Why the NHL?
Yeah, it's a great question. We always looked at it from an opportunity of reach, and I think that was what I was saying earlier. When we started here, we had to rebuild the brand. I came here to relaunch MassMutual's brand, the visual brand, the identity, the strategy. So we're looking at an opportunity to reach a lot of people on where we traditionally underspend against competitors. So how are we going to get that coverage there? So it was actually Kristen and I spent a lot of time talking to a lot of different partners. And we built a multi-tiered framework that included everything from sports down to James Beard. Because James Beard, I think, was a great organization for us to bring up the fact that we want to help with hunger and health. So it was a blanket of things. But sports was always in our media strategy because I like the fact that our brand works well in sports because people tend to watch sports in groups, in teams. They're dedicated. Your dad went to, Georgia, and you're going to be a Georgia Bulldogs fan for the rest of your life. And you watch it together. So to put ourselves in those kind of environments, and no one wants the spoiler alert in the morning on what their team did, and don't tell me the score, don't tell me the score. So we were always buying in sports as a media opportunity anyways, and we felt that it was right for our brand. So this gave us a chance to, as I said, we're spending the money there anyways. Let's work with that. The NHL was a great opportunity for us at the time. As a national sponsor, it was a white space. They are dead our target audience, 100% in our target audience, a very high propensity to purchase financial service products, especially coverage and insurance. Maybe that's the fighting on the hockey rink, I'm not sure. But and the last was there was no one there from a competitor perspective. So we had the opportunity to get in and claim all these national designations that created exclusivity for us. And you'll see them in a lot of the local teams. You'll see a lot of financial service companies, but we purchased a national partnership for the reach. And it just has been an amazing partnership, and they're great partners to work with. So we've had a lot of fun with it.
That's very, very interesting that you kind of looked around for that white space. And I guess like you've had this partnership now for about 3 or 4 years now. What have you learned?
Wow, a lot. I would say, I think we've really learned that there's an opportunity to resonate with a fan at a very different level and look at a customer in a really different way. When we get into these planning meetings and we talk about creative, we talk like hockey players, even if none of us really were hockey players. We've all definitely become them. And it was such an amazing way to connect with somebody at a real different level when you're competing for attention and authenticity and message. And we've learned how to push the parameters of what we work on in the data and the analytics and the modeling around messaging to fit into a really good spot and maximize it in a really fine-tuned way. And it's hard to do when you're trying to get national reach and eyeballs at really big levels. So a lot of really good work has been put into it, but we're still learning. Like I said, I think our biggest thing in the beginning was like, oh my God, we got to get everything into this agreement. We're paying all this money for it. And then you're like, oh, I don't think I needed all that. Like, what do we do with it now? So we've also learned, get ready to build a team. It was interesting. I think our leadership team was definitely, they had a little bit, we had some US Open hospitality seats. They just, to me to bring this up, it was like talking about, a Super Bowl spot or something crazy like that. They just couldn't believe that we would do anything at this kind of a national level. And everybody's subjective. They're going to be like, if you don't like hockey, they're going to be like, why are you spending? I get notes from advisors that are like, why are we spending money on hockey? Can you please help me sponsor? I'm a really good friend of the Indianapolis 500, and I know the owner. And I'm like, oh, that's brilliant. That's a completely uninsurable sport. Why would I be a partner? I mean, no offense to anybody that's a sponsor with NASCAR and racing. It's a huge audience, but like that's what you can't. Like you got to think about how that fits. And some people think it makes perfect sense, and other people are like, I don't like hockey at all. I don't know why we spend the money. So you hear it. I hear it a lot. Everybody on our team gets emails about it. So you just, you got to be ready to just constantly have that question ready at the all-employee meeting when someone's going to ask your CEO, why are we still in? Yeah, so it's been fun.
So have you made everyone at MassMutual a hockey fan now?
I think I have found a lot, especially in our field and our advisors, a lot of new hockey fans, which is fun. But that's when I just go back and I say it's not just about hockey. We did a partnership with Churchill Downs in the Kentucky Derby for a while, and everybody was like, that doesn't make any sense. I was like, well, whether you guys, and you guys all know this, when you go into focus groups with your CEO and everybody looks and goes, that's not my customer. And we're like, it's your customer. I mean, so that's where we found, like with Churchill and stuff like that, they were our customer, and that's where you're going to see the impact. And people may not like that they're horse racing, and they may not like hockey, but it's the person that you pick up the phone every day and answer in your operations team. It is your customer. So it's been a challenge.
Interesting. So apart from successfully convincing the company to get into hockey, obviously measuring success across the different channels is very, very challenging. And this is a completely new channel as well. So how did you measure those pillars of success through just cross-channel management?
It's a great question. It took us a while too, I will say, although I shouldn't admit that out loud, in case anybody's in the building wondering where I came up with the numbers the first year. But it did take us some time to sort of really build that framework and that structure. And the more complicated and detailed we got into building these multi-channel funnel type of programs, we realized we had to have the connection points. And so we really looked to a lot of our own sort of behavioral research that we were doing on our own channels, also integrating with partners around Nielsen to make sure that we could get the value and the ROI on it, and then Kantar to see where because they measure all of our brand awareness metrics. So it's building this dashboard of integrating on the assets to really get down to the model on how much each of these opportunities give for business development value to our individual business channels, because we sell through multiple channels, so that we can then allocate the assets and the dollars to show that, one, it's supporting this channel really well, and two, they get 70% of the seats and you guys get 30% of the seats because of the balance in it. So we've really been able to fine tune it, but it took us some time.
And I imagine it must have been hard getting everybody on board with that new form of measurement as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the good fortune I say sometimes here is that we work in a company that's very financially, like our leadership team is very financially oriented, obviously, and they're real P&L numbers people. And that's when anything you come in with brand stories and stuff like that, they just sort of like glaze over at you. So getting any kind of data and knowing your audience, and I think many of us are challenged with that in general, working with executive leadership teams that have CFOs that say, I don't know why we spend money on marketing and brand. You got to have those numbers. And I think that's really been the challenge, to show them that how it works. And it's also been given us a chance to educate them too. I mean, I hear our CEO now talk about signs and impressions on an out-of-home hot board. I'm like, oh, you did listen to that. Like, they learn too when you get the chance to show them the data that makes the connection for them.
Great. And so I guess going forward now, you've been doing this for 4 years. What's the future? Would you do another sports partnership? Or how would you develop this? How are you planning to develop this partnership more?
Yeah. I think we love the NHL. We're working really well with them. We know that where there's an audience, there's an opportunity. We have a lot of really good relationships with a lot of Boston-based groups that we've always worked with in sport. I think it's a little bit glitchy right now. I think the challenge that we are seeing with it is that you have digital dashboards, whether you ever noticed it, in every major football stadium that you go to, in every baseball park, because everything lights up. In the hockey rinks, nobody minds the boards there, but when it's on the ice, because when you're watching from home, it's a very fast game. To see things moving around you with the puck, we're learning it, and they're learning it. But we've also started to take the chance to use it better around messaging, which was the point, to be very targeted. And we've also sort of modified it to go back to, I said to the team, let's just go back and put the flat logos out there and don't make them move at all. And if we do that, we actually get more dominance than we did before. So it's change, it's digital. There's a lot of data behind it that will give people the opportunity to be really customized. I think brands, it's a learning curve right now. But that's one of the challenges we've had with the NHL in general. I mean, they broke apart all their partners at Media Network a year and a half ago when they went off NBC Sports. And all of a sudden we're across 50 different partners and we have amazing reach, but I'm still getting calls every night saying, where is the hockey game? So it's been a lot, but it's been good. They're very good at what they're doing, and they're very open with us to work through and write it out. They're very good to their sponsors. Yeah.
This is the last question.
That'll be the last, yeah.
Thanks. Sorry. Creatively, do you work really mainly internally within your in-house team, or is it part and parcel out? And I think like from a authenticity standpoint, like how do you ensure really bringing that sort of real life a touch to everything
Yeah.
you do?
It's a great question, and you're going to hear from Spencer Dedrick a little bit later. He's our Chief Creative Officer here. We have a really good team internally that also works really closely with our agency of record, Gray. And we split out the work. We divide it. Everybody touches everything. I'm looking for Trip. He's on the front row. He's our brand guideline guru. He's the owner of every logo and every. So we work very closely with both teams. And when we do the TV shoot that we did down in Tampa, the recent spot, it was Spencer and I and the team with the great team. So we're both really well connected, because when you have the opportunity to make that many assets, you divide and conquer. Like, you need the agency can do this, but we need to do these. So they're always in lockstep together.
Well, thank you very much. Jen, this has been awesome. Really, really, really interesting presentation. And I can't wait to see how this develops. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you all.
Really, truly incredible. Thank you so much for joining us today. Next, we are going to hear from the Vista team about their transformative journey over the past years. So please give a round welcome applause for the entire Vista team, and as well the moderator. The session will be moderated by Joe Charnitsky, the Director of CXM Best Practices at Sprinkler. Thank you.